just in case nobody had actually said anything, and it went dead and it was, yeah, no one was interested. Please don't try and read this. But if you go to Google and look for strategy delivery success, there are lots and lots of reasons for strategy delivery problems. Loads and loads and loads and loads and loads. I won't pick any out. You can read this after the show, as it were. But the point is, and a brief canvas from people. This is the issue. There are too many issues for us to rely on magic somehow happening. The point there, with respect to strategy delivery, wizardry is not going to deliver your strategy. But my view is that engineering your organisation to operate effectively might. And the guy on the left, Harry Potter, kind of suggests that. The guy on the right, it's not me. It's a famous English engineer, Isambard Kingdom Brunel. So I don't think that organisations can kind of leave strategy to some kind of hope and wish for it. To me, organisations need to build some infrastructure to enable it to happen. And I don't think in lots of organisations that there's plenty of focus on the projects, but not necessarily on the strategy integration bit. So that bold statement aside, we'll then position effective organisational governance as the framework set to manage and deliver performance, but assuming that magic doesn't happen. So what do we need to engineer to put in place? Well, let's just have a little look at what we're talking about here. So strategy delivery in most organisations is not integrated. And how does disconnected governance look? Well, if we examine a picture of an organisation operating ideally, it's listening to the outside world for opportunities, threats, and imperatives, and so on. It's listening to its owners and interpreting, turning its purpose into goals that your senior team will be reflecting on and turning into strategy, bearing in mind performance and current strengths and weaknesses. And we hope that the strategy will produce some actionables, will produce a corporate plan which bites off a piece of the strategy and defines objectives, targets, and challenges that it can distribute through its leadership teams. And for each point of the business, for example, sales, marketing, whatever, we kind of hope that they'll be given or be able to debate and agree their piece of the pie with respect to objectives, targets, and challenges. And then there will be many departments from sales, finance, commercial, whatever that is. But we've also got various strategic themes going on, various strategic programs. So we can't just think about departments and operating across them. We need to think about the cross-functional, cross-project initiatives that we have ongoing. But just thinking of one department, for example, sales, it will interpret what it's been delegated in terms of objectives, targets, and challenges. It will have an understanding of its local perspective on its opportunities, threats, imperatives, and goals, and it will come up with a business as usual a plan and strategy for what it's going to do and define its objectives, targets, and challenges, which it will distribute to its sub teams and different areas, and so on and so forth. So in reality, we've not just got one strategy. We've not just got one set of objectives, targets, and challenges, or opportunities, threats, imperatives. We've got many. And how do all these align? How can we see the line of sight from the objectives, targets, and challenges we have at a board level to what that means that the head of sales is taking on in their area, to what a team lead in their part of the business is turning into tasks? How do we get that visibility? And I think there's an issue here, because I think a lot of organizations manage by PowerPoint or manage with Excel. There's a lot of this stuff created, a lot of documents produced, but is it aligned? Is it integrated? Is it current? Is it real? Is it traceable? How do we see what it is, yet alone communicate down what it should be, yet alone understand what's going on in conflict to that, yet alone what the response to it in terms of performance actually is? And if we had integrated data, if we had information that was connected, aligned, current, real, traceable, We might find it a little bit easier, a little bit faster to coordinate the local and corporate strategies. But without that information connection, how do we keep on top of all this stuff?
So David, a question to you, and I know I haven't put this to you before, but so I bring in a project management tool. How does that help or not help? Honestly, when I use project management tools, I find that I've got several projects and I'm still managing them by Excel anyway, but that's my personal experience. What is your sense of project management tools in solving this problem?
Well, it doesn't. For me, the project management tool is the bit that copes with tasks down here. We're looking at, I think we're looking at three kinds of technology on the page here. We've got the corporate risk log, which has the opportunities, threats, imperatives, and goals in it from each of the levels, so we can see the corporate risk. There's the OKR solution, so we can understand what the objectives, targets, and challenges are and how they cascade through the organization. And there's the project
OKR solution. Just explain that a bit.
OKR, objectives and key results. So there are solution sets out there which allow us to define our objectives, targets, and challenges, and then set up key performance indicators which describe how those objectives can be seen as being achieved, and even break them down and relate them to sub-objectives and even to objectives that we give to individuals. So we got the corporate risk, we got the objectives and key results, we've got the KPI solution. So what do you use to measure performance? People probably cobble together spreadsheets and PowerPoints and ad hoc bits of Power BI here and there. And then you've got your project management
and the supporting budgets, the budget solution, and the finance systems needed to, and as you say, the HR systems, performance management systems behind this. There's just lots to be cobbling together, and lots of opportunity for missteps.
I did actually add a slide in here which described this more fully. And it will be in the fuller pack. There's a picture of this with the information sets that we need. But I think corporate risk, to let us see risk, OKRs, so we can see how they cascade and how they relate. The performance management solution, so I can see the KPIs, and the project management solution or solutions that let us track activities and performance across a business.
As an IT person, I will use this as a big excuse to say, and I live on the end, and you're wanting me to do what?
Well, yes, there's well, you live on the end and do your bits, but hopefully
and IT, because IT gets the results of all of this. They have to make the change, and you go, well, okay, all of this needs to happen properly before my change can be seen as being valuable.
Yeah, I'm doing this with an organization right now. We're looking at all those lovely PowerPoints, and we're extracting from the PowerPoints the purpose, the key objectives, and we're trying to datify that, if you like, so we can track it and integrate it. We can't track and integrate stuff that's buried in PowerPoints.